in stores now, because Halloween is right around the corner, is the pumpkin-shaped Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. And I'm wondering if this shape would give you a better peanut butter to chocolate ratio, which I think we can all agree would make a superior Reese's Cup.
To help us figure this out, we're joined now by Sam. He is a 14-year-old high school student.
So, Sam, before we get into this, am I to understand that you are skipping class to have this conversation?
Well, actually, right now, this is my lunch period. I was doing some research during gym class.
Okay.
Wait, did you already skip gym?
Yes.
All right, well, let's start here. Do I get a better peanut butter to chocolate ratio with the pumpkin-shaped Reese's Cup?
Well, I was wondering the same question. So, I actually went to the store and I bought 6 different types of Reese's just for a variety.
Uh-huh.
And out of the regular circular cup sizes, I got the king size, the regular size, the miniature size, and the mini size. And then out of the pumpkin size, I got the king size and the regular pumpkin.
All right.
So for the first 4 that were in the cup shape, those are really in the shape of a frustum because, in case you don't know, a frustum is when you take a cone and then you slice off the top part, the pointy part.
Yeah.
How you have a circle on top and then a circle on bottom, but the circle on the bottom is bigger.
That's a frustum?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
And that would be the shape of the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Sure, yeah. So that's something I've just learned already is that the basic standard Reese's Cup shape, it should be called a Reese's Frustum.
Yes, not a Reese's Cup.
Okay, so which of these many shapes that you did calculations on is going to give us the best peanut butter to chocolate ratio?
After finding the volume of the inner frustum of the peanut butter and the whole frustum of the peanut butter cup, I got that the king size of the king Reese's Frustum has 37% of it is peanut butter.
Okay.
And the regular is about 30% peanut butter, so just the regular shape is 30%.
Uh-huh.
The miniatures are 36%, and the minis are 35%.
Wow. And so where does the pumpkin fall?
So the pumpkin, I had to measure it in a different way because the pumpkin is like an ellipse.
Okay.
So the regular pumpkin Reese's had 38% peanut butter, so it beat out all the other Reese's.
Wow.
But then when I went to the king pumpkin, it won by a really large amount. It had 67% peanut butter.
What?
Yeah, it was a lot.
Wow.
Maybe I just got a really good king pumpkin peanut butter package, or maybe it just has a lot of peanut butter, one of the two.
That's really, this is really helpful.
Yeah, so if you're really into peanut butter, I would suggest taking advantage of Halloween and buying a lot of the pumpkin shapes.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, in doing this research for us, which we're very grateful, how many Reese's Ellipses or Frustums did you eat?
How many did I eat?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I ate a decent amount. I'd say maybe, I tried to stay low on them because I didn't want my mom getting mad at me.
Yeah.
So I think I only ate maybe 5, 6, maybe 7 of each kind. Don't tell her that.
Wait, 7 of each kind?
Maybe.
Wait, and there were 7 kinds?
Yeah, there were
49.
Well, there were 6 kinds.
Oh,
so 6 times 7 is 42.
Are you going trick or treating this Halloween?
Yes, I am.
What's your costume?
I haven't decided yet. Do you have any suggestions?
You could be a frustrum.
Oh, maybe.
I notice we should just clarify that I am saying frustum and Mike is saying frustrum. Which one is it?
Okay, so originally when I first learned the word, I thought it was frustrum, Frustrum.
Uh-huh.
But it turns out there isn't the second R. It's just Frustum.
Frustum.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess being wrong about that's probably frustrating.
Yeah. Although I don't think most people notice, so it's fine. You can get away with it.
I myself was not frustrated by that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know about the pumpkins. We know about the frustums. Is there an ideal, perfect, best shape?
So, I actually did some research on this, and I figured out that the best Reese's Reese's shape for having the most peanut butter would be Reese's in the shape of a sphere, because it would be able to hold the most volume, which would be the peanut butter, using the least amount of surface area.
And then I guess, is it the bigger that sphere got, the better ratio of peanut butter to chocolate we would get?
The bigger it got, there would be a better ratio.
So really, the best optimal Reese's would be a sphere of infinite size, a sphere as large as the universe would allow.
Yes, like something really, really big.
Wow, but you couldn't sell that in a store.
Nah, I don't know if it would fit in the store.
I don't think it would. I don't think it would fit anywhere. Yeah, because it'd be too big.
I think you'd be frustrated in trying to get it in the store.
All right, Sam, back to class. Well, that does it for this week's show. What'd you learn, Ian?
I learned that in a real emergency, rubbing dirt on your cut, like if you're going to bleed out, is actually a pretty good idea. Otherwise, it's probably a little gross.
I mean, there's a cost. I think it will add more germs to your body, germs that weren't there before, but you won't be bleeding anymore.
I think if you choose the right dirt, it'd be nice if you could maybe uproot a daisy or something, so that there you are. You look pretty bad because you just had a massive wound. But look, there's a beautiful daisy growing out of your arm.
So you could have it, you could kind of cultivate your wound.
Well, I mean, I think like everybody loves really local produce. And if it's actually growing out of your arm, find me more local than that.
Could you imagine going to a restaurant and the waiter hands you fresh parsley for your garnish from his arm?
Yeah. Pick it yourself. I was recently in a car accident.
Oh.
How to Do Everything is produced by Candace Mattel with technical direction from Lorna White.
Our intern this week is question mark. That's what it says here.
Just gonna call him Mark. It's a much more reasonable name.
But he did a great job helping us end our sentences. Our artist in residence is Justin Whitty.
Get us your questions at howtodoeverything.org.
And you can visit our website at howtodoeverything.org.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Mike.
Dan, do you remember once we recorded a segment with you under an elevated train line in Chicago?
Yeah, I don't remember that making it to air.
I think the idea was we were going to do interviews in the worst possible locations to record under an elevated train line in Chicago.
Yeah, I don't remember that making it to air.
I think the idea was we were going to do interviews in the worst possible locations to record interviews.
How'd that turn out? I don't remember hearing that series.
Yeah, we never did it. Do you remember
It's
what
like-
we talked about, though? It was
I
about,
want to say it involved guacamole.
I believe it was how to eat pasta. The right way to eat pasta. If it works for you right now, we'll give you a chance to answer that question.
Okay, well, I'll say two quick things. Number one, it depends short pasta or long.
That's all the time we have for today.
Subscribe to this Porkful podcast from WNYC Studios, wherever you get your podcasts.
Funding for Think comes from SMU Continuing and Professional Education.
From KERA in North Texas, this is Think. I'm Chris Boyd. Ask Isaias Ramos where home is, and he would tell you Memphis, Tennessee. He wasn't born there. In fact, he lived for 8 years in Mexico before crossing the border with his parents, who built a life for their 3 sons with a small house painting business. Isaias got to work creating a thoroughly American identity for himself, taking music lessons, acing his classes at school, even tuning into NPR for ideas on editing audio stories he recorded himself. He earned such a high score on his ACT exam that his teachers encouraged him to submit an application to Harvard. But he told them he wasn't even sure he wanted to go to college. As my guest will explain, his immigration status put the American dream largely out of reach for this Mexican-American kid who seemed destined to be a superstar. The new book by journalist Daniel Connolly is called The Book of Isaias. A child of Hispanic immigrants seeks his own America. Daniel, welcome to Think.
Thank you for having me on.
we in Texas have a long history with immigration from Mexico, and to be fair, people of Mexican descent were living here long before Texas was Texas in many cases. But Isaias and his family arrived in your hometown of Memphis at a time of real change. Will you talk about that?
Sure. So I grew up in Memphis, and when I was growing up, essentially we had basically no Hispanic folks at all. In my elementary school, everyone was either African American, white, or we had a couple of Asian students as well. And I'm Catholic, and I at the time I was growing up, we attended a Catholic church in a Memphis neighborhood called Hickory Hill. And in the 1990s, a lot of Mexican immigrants began attending that church, and that was what prompted me to start getting interested in learning Spanish, which I've used extensively as a journalist. And it was in 2010 that I had a conversation with someone that I'd actually met at the church, the head of a civic group called Latino Memphis, who gave me the idea of writing about immigrants' children.
So this is really just a wave of a reflection of a wave of migration that's happening not just in Tennessee, not just in Texas, really all over the U.S., and it has dwarfed every other wave of migration from any specific country ever, right?
Yes. So the Pew Hispanic Center last year put out a report that compared Mexican immigration to all previous waves, and there were more Mexican immigrants that have come to the U.S. in recent decades than there were Italian immigrants who came in that wave, German Jews, more than came from Russia, Eastern Europe. And, when I wrote this in the book, my book editor asked me to double check it and triple check it